Kraft is releasing pumpkin spice mac and cheese, and I just want everything to stop.
God
Just
damn
stop it.
That
Stop ruining good things.
That belongs in Patrick's food picks because I wouldn't eat that.
And from what the pictures look like, it looks like just regular Kraft mac and cheese, which is delightful on its own. Then with like a seasoning packet where you just sprinkle the pumpkin spice on top.
No.
Fuck that noise. No one wants that.
That's no.
Just give me regular mac and cheese. God, I want mac and cheese.
I got a flu shot.
It happens. You did?
I got my arm.
Did they give you a... Oh, they did. They give you a nice Band-Aid.
Flu fighter.
What's it say on it?
It says flu fighter.
Flu fighter. Cool. Phil likes that. He thinks it's funny. What are you doing, Phil? You working? Or did you take the day off so they could fix your shit?
I clocked out early when the plumbers showed up. I did not know they were going to. I'm very happy that they were able to show up the same day I called. They showed up an hour after I called them.
Wow.
Which is
That
amazing.
is very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but I was not prepared.
you might have to pay out of your butthole for that. I mean, literally.
The entire house smells like semen. And they didn't have to work in that. Oh, I don't mean the sexual thing. I mean like I've had some sailors staying.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because I was having sex with them.
Oh my hell.
All right, I'm back. Here we go.
Here we go. All right.
I'm warm.
You're feeling warm now. Yeah.
And 3, 2,
4, 5, 6.
Welcome,
7.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another extremely intelligent episode of Level 1 GM. I am your Level 1 GM. I am Chad. I am your not smirt GM. And we are joined today by 3 smirt GMs. First, we have Michael, our regular old ordinary smirt GM. We've got our other smirt GM, Laura, and our yet another smirt GM, Phil. And today, we're going to cover some tools, right? In the past, we've touched on some tools. We've talked about some things. You know, things we use when building campaigns and building like NPCs and crazy stuff like that. But now we're actually going to specifically talk about the tools we use to create adventures. Mike, we always start with you.
Well, the tools I like to use are my best friends, Chad, Phil, Laura.
Wait.
I see what you did there.
That was an insult.
So where do you want to start? Initial creation?
I think we need to start with let's start like this. When you're putting a campaign together, when you're writing it, before you've even started playing, is there a certain set of tools or resources that you use to create your campaign? And I think I can start with this because I've only really done one. And the obvious answer to that is the handbook, right? That's where you start. I wanted to put together a game in a platform that we have not yet used, Deadlands, based on Savage Worlds. So I had to kind of get to know it. So I grabbed that resource book, I read the whole damn thing, and started from there. But what do you guys do when you're creating a game in whatever game you're using? Laura, why don't we start with you?
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's a good place to start because the other 2 Smirt GMs create campaigns from their brains. And I create campaigns from these.
Reach.
From these.
There we
modules.
Go. Yeah.
I just bought the new one, and it's shiny and beautiful, and I'm very excited. It is Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, and I'm so very excited to read it and then incorporate it and torture all of you with it someday.
Icewind Dale is when my dad farts in December outside.
I didn't
but yeah, so I use
but that's funny.
My dad's name's Dale.
To craft and start my campaigns. For the most part, someday I might write my own.
You're kind of writing your
but
own now. The amount of adjustments you're doing.
Yeah. I am notorious. That's what I was going to say. I'm notorious for taking a campaign that has been written already and then ripping it apart, taking out things that I don't like and putting in things that are more interesting. So to do that, I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you what I have.
Awesome.
You're gonna have to mess with the
this
overlay
one?
on this.
Yeah.
Bloop. We're just gonna
So did
turn
that
off
change
our,
over from
our
our
names
screen
here.
That's a good call.
to a Google Doc? You see a Google Doc.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a lot of porn tags.
Beautiful.
Jeez.
Yeah, so many. So I start first in a Google Doc. So right now I'm prepping Tyranny of Dragons, and I always outline it similar to how I'm writing because I also write novels. Haven't finished one yet, but I say that I write them. So when I'm storyboarding a novel in the same way that when I'm storyboarding a D&D campaign, I always have player characters and the information that I have about them, NPCs and other important characters. This particular campaign relies heavily on some factions that are well known throughout the D&D Faerun universe, any important lore, locations, and then it will kind of filter down into encounters. Those tent poles that we talked about, that will be incorporated there as well. And this is where I do a lot of my rewriting. So I'll stop sharing because you don't need to read all that. Right now for this particular campaign that I'm working on, one of the beautiful things about this campaign is it's set in very familiar locations in the D&D universe, which means that I can pull things from other campaign modules and utilize them at the same time. So I'm going to be pulling things from Waterdeep Dragon Heist because I find that a very compelling campaign with a lot of cool, interesting things. There's a NPC in Tyranny of Dragons that is a huge NPC in Icewind Dale, so I'm going to be pulling stuff from that, and just kind of changing up the whole flow of the campaign with one overarching ultimate bad guy that we all know we're going to run into at the very end, kind of thing.
Is
How
his
we
name
get there
Dave?
it is Dave. I'm stealing from you.
Damn it.
Yep. Dave
So
has
that's
5
kinda-
heads. Yeah.
That's kind of cool because essentially you're using the world that the world building that's already that's been done inside of those modules. Maybe you're starting from one module, but you're pulling from all that stuff to create just one big sort of sandboxy open world campaign from a module.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking cool.
That's the goal, at least. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I use that. I use Google Docs to organize my thoughts. I use the books themselves. I am a giant nerd who wastes money, and I buy both the book hardback form and I buy it on D&D Beyond, so I can cut and paste things if I need to. Yeah.
We're gonna come back
But
to
you're gonna
D&D
hear me talk
Beyond
about
because you use
Beyond.
that a lot. So
Yeah,
I want
because I use it a lot.
But I want to talk about that specifically. Phil, let's go up to you. When you're writing or putting together a campaign, what kind of tools do you reference?
Well, I also buy all the books, not the actual modules, but I am stupid and buy all of the source material. So when it came to the Starfinder campaigns,
Like, it's not
I'm
stupid.
with you, Philip. I'm with you. There's just something about having
there is something about it. Yeah.
love
I have no
and
attachment to the physical. I can't relate to it at all.
They smell good.
Cut my brain out, attach it to the internet. I have. Continue, Phil.
Yeah.
So when I started, jumping in, diving headlong into GMing, had no experience in it or the Starfinder system at all. My starting point was I took that core rulebook and I read that thing cover to cover. Not super advisable. A lot of it's very dry. Not a fun read at all times, but hey, it got me the general knowledge of the overall, the feel of what the Starfinder universe was. And the rules maybe they don't all stick in there the first time you read it, and maybe maybe you have somebody at the table playing a fuzzy little Skittermander telling you all about these rules that you are not remembering correctly. But still, it's nice to have. So I do. My method was I became very, very well versed in the universe in which my story was going to exist. And then I used that to kind of rein in what I'm going to write. Because if I can just write about anything, I'm not going to decide on anything. There's too many possibilities. So I kind of relegate it to that universe, but I found out very early that I couldn't have a very rigid storyline because you guys fuck with that incessantly. So what I
Don't point at me, son of a bitch.
so what I found out the best thing to do was my campaign was for the most part a comedy campaign, which means the story isn't that important. The characters are. So what I did was I dedicated myself to creating what I felt were, at least for their purposes, entertaining NPCs. Now, you went through a lot of them, so a lot of them don't really get remembered, but you know, those hard, like, placeholders, like, you know, your bartender, Vlarg, and so on and so forth. The duo of police officers, of the space police officers that never got anything done right. Yeah.
Phil, did you use any particular resources when building those NPCs? Like Mike has talked about in the past, things that he likes to use in building NPCs. Did you have anything specific you referenced?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Okay. So I have a program that I found, which is insanely useful and also very free. I should definitely give these people some money. They asked for donations, but so everything that I built in the Starfinder universe, which did not come from directly the core rulebook or the monster manuals, there were like 2 or 3 monster manuals I purchased physical copies of. I occasionally used NPCs from those. But in terms of building an encounter and even NPCs that you will speak to, Starfighter Monster Builder. sfrpgtools.com/monster builder is a fantastic tool.
This episode is sponsored by all the things we do and don't give money to. Please give us money.
There we go.
Oh.
There it is. Look at that.
So yeah, it's a really useful tool. Has an armor generator, a weapon generator. These things I don't use a whole lot, just because, well, there's plenty of armor and weapons in the game already. The star systems, I like to do those from my brain palace, but like the starships and randomly generated loot, great, helpful. The monster builder is the most helpful here. You can go ahead and just pick any challenge rating, basic types.
Gotcha. Right.
It's just really, really easy to make it into whatever you want. And then once you're done with everything, you can kind of make additional edits, but this gives you a super like
really detailed,
really, really fast way to build something on the fly.
Cool.
Is there a dick slider?
That's in Photoshop once I make the character art, but but we're not going to worry about that today.
And also in Hero Forge.
Yes, Hero Forge does have a dick slider. It's totally true. I've used it. Not gonna lie.
Have I ended share screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then he left.
And then there it is. There. He's back. Oh man, very cool. Mike, let's go to you. How do you begin a campaign? What do you use?
I do things bass-ackwards, apparently. So, before I ever think about rules, before I ever even think about what system I'm going to use, I generally have most of the campaign structure done. The most of the story, a lot of the NPCs, maps, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I need the rules.
They're gonna pick a system now. What?
Right. That's why recently it's been 5e. There we go. Well, that's available. No. But campaigns like Cyberpunk, like there's a Cyberpunk system. There's a bunch of Cyberpunk systems, but I'm like, you know what? Let's use the OG. Let's use Cyberpunk 2020. Go with that. Shadowrun. I wanted to do a Cyberpunk sorcerer magic one. It already exists.
What else are you going to use? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have already made a lot of decisions about what I'm going to do well before I ever pick a system or rule set or anything like that. Just because there's so many different tabletop RPGs now, I don't feel like constraining my idea to fit to a system. I know I can find a system after the fact that fits my idea.
Right. I think that's why, when I initially started to think about writing a campaign, I just immediately chose Savage Worlds because it's kind of genre agnostic. Inside of it, you can kind of design that way, right? But yeah, as I got further into my original idea, I realized that I was in way over my head, and then choosing Deadlands because that Savage World with a genre built into it that incorporated a lot of the ideas that I wanted to play with made a bunch of sense at the time. So let's go ahead and transition into actually playing the game. When we've sat down, it's session 1 time. Are there anything specific you guys use? Any special tools you use during the gameplay process?
So many things.
Mike, let's go back. We'll go back the other way. Let's start with you, Mike.
Okay, so the internet's a thing, right? So anything on the internet you can find and use.
Yeah.
I don't have the attachment to books that they have, so PDF versions of the books in which I can hit Control F, fall damage. It's on page 52. There we go. I have it now. And then I use here's the thing about nerds. We don't get a lot accomplished most of the time, but we're capable of hyper focusing on things we care about. Knowing that, I know if I need a resource, some other dork has made it. I don't have to make it myself. There's some nerd somewhere that has made the shit I need. So going through real quick, and I'll just cover the stuff in my 5e tab. I have multiple bookmark folders for different systems, different games, different resources, okay? Just for my 5e tab, I have the PDF pull-up of Wild Magic Roller. I have Incarnate, which is a free map builder. You can give them money, and actually, if you give them the money version of the map builder is incredibly detailed. You can do a lot of work in it really quickly. I don't really do I use this one? No, I don't really use this one. Dawn John, which I think is the best site for any fantasy tabletop role playing. It's not 5e specific. It covers 4e, basic D20 fantasy, Pathfinder. There's science fiction, weird fiction, but there in this it will randomly generate NPCs, dungeons, towns, and not just like, oh, here's the layout of the town. It will go through shop by shop and go, okay, here's one. One is a enchanter store, and here's the guy who runs it, and here's the name of it, and here's some stuff they have to sell, and it'll do that for the entire fucking town. Randomly generate the whole thing. Nice. It has a name generator. It just go donjon.bin.sh. Donjon DONJON.BIN.SH. Donjon. If you need resources for a fantasy setting, it has all the resources for a fantasy setting. Other things. Fast Character, which is just called fastcharacter.com. You put in a couple stuff, gives you a 5e character. Done. Just spell lists, feat lists, everything. And then there's RPG Tinker. RPG Tinker makes NPCs, randomly generates them as well. It's a little more detailed, a little less detailed in different aspects. There's tetracube.com, which you can make monsters. It has a complete list of all monsters in the running monster list for 5e, right? And you can pull up a preset, and then when you have the preset loaded, it has everything attached to the preset at the bottom of the page. And you can go in and adjust to create, based on presets, creatures that already exist.
Wow.
I've done this multiple times. It balances for rules for it as well. And then the last one is DM Heroes. It's a great way to do NPCs. It gives you there are a few simple. I pick dmheroes.com. Human, male, and it's just race and male or female, or random for any of those. And then it gives you a small picture that it randomly generates, features, how tall they are, how old they are, what their voice sounds like, traits about things they like, a little bit of backstory. This, like the one I just rolled, is Lincoln Welfer, has a possessed chicken. It decided that it has a possessed chicken, this character. And it tells you what like their god is or anything like that. You don't have to use any of it, but it's all available. Anything you want. Don't pretend to be smarter than you are. Somebody really smart has made the thing you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Just Google.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Bars in chat was talking about token stamp, which I pulled up real quick, and I'm looking at going, what the fuck? I'm using Photoshop to do this? I could just use this? See, There you go. That's brilliant. Yeah, little tools like that. Phil, what can you add to that massive list of Michaels? When you're actually GMing, middle of the game, what do you got? What do you have in front of you? What are you using?
Well, physically in front of me, I have the GM screen, which has quick reference rules written all over the back of it. I should probably pay attention to that more than I do.
Those GM screens are great. They've been around
It is
forever.
great. I forget it's there so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They generally cost like $25-$30. They're always going to be worth it because it's basically almost all of the core rules that you would need to reference very quickly. Yeah. And it's just sitting in front of you. They're excellent resources.
Beyond that, what Michael said, I Google shit. But the Google search typically brings me to one of two places. Either for Starfinder, it would have been either Starjammer SRD or Archives of Nethys. Archives of Nethys is Paizo specific. It has Pathfinder, Starfinder, and second edition Pathfinder. Starjammer is of course Starfinder specific.
I remember by the end of that campaign, we basically had we had stopped using the rule books and we were just using Archives of Nethys as like
that was Morgan's influence. I actually like Starjammer a lot better, but I had to start referencing Archives of Nethys because that was what Morgan always referenced. Right. So I had to cross-reference to see if what he was saying was actually anyway. But yeah.
Laura,
enough about that.
Break it down for us.
Oh, so many things. Very clearly, I use D&D Beyond a lot, specifically because I am so module based. But it is really a great platform for the amount of things that they have that's specifically D&D related.
Can I put a caveat in?
Mm-hmm.
If you pay for it.
Yes.
The free version of D&D Beyond looks very nice and functions pretty well, but has very little resources attached to it. If you're
Yes.
willing to put the money in, it's the best resource you can
Yeah.
put together for monsters. And it has an encounter builder that pre-balances and tells you if it's fair or not. It will reference your own characters, so it'll have everything pulled together in characters as GMing. It's an excellent resource as a dice roller now, but you got to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I pay for it, and I'm fine with it because it just makes
It is just a
everything.
one-time purchase thing, right?
It's a subscription, but it's once a year.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, so I use the encounter builder, and then something that they've added within the encounter builder, you can build the encounter just to check for fairness and learn things about the villains that you're doing. So I can show you all what that looks like.
Yeah.
So this is from the when y'all fought the one-shot the dragon in the teleportation room. So I have all of the dragon's information there, but then they've also then added a actual encounter tracker. So then you just click run encounter, and it has all the players, level 13. Y'all didn't really have character sheets, and I didn't create a campaign for it, and the adult dragon. So you can manually enter all of your characters' initiatives. You can auto roll initiative for the dragon. You hit start campaign. You can put in where your character's health, so you can track your character's health and damage for those moments when maybe we want to fudge something. If we're not necessarily looking to kill someone outright, we have an idea of where they're at. It's in alpha, so it's not fully done yet, but it goes through everybody's turn. And you can continue to add things in.
I wish I didn't make custom characters, custom monsters all the time, so I could use this more effectively. But
I don't know if I even have any encounters right now that are directly connected to a campaign because I haven't been using them. Yeah, I don't.
I can say as a player, the D&D Beyond character builder and the character sheet is pretty fucking awesome. I wish that there were, for other systems, they had stuff like that, at least from a character sheet standpoint. The interactivity, man.
No other systems have the money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The nice thing about that, Mike brought up the fact that, yes, you have to pay for D&D Beyond, but when you're running a campaign, only one person has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because then if you create a campaign, so I can see my campaigns in D&D Beyond, if you create a campaign and you pay for a certain level of it, you can create a specific number. But we've got Crosden, we've got Distant Star all under my my campaign list because it then allows everybody else to have the same level of access that I do. Actually, Distant Star is under Jay's because he also paid for it. But yeah, so you have the ability to do that and then share your resources with everybody else. So it's not like everybody has to buy the book. Only one person. So
as a group, I mean, if you had a group of people that are going to game together, you could actually, pool up your money, throw at one person uses that money to get the subscription, and you're playing for a year or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. How many is there a limit to the number of campaigns you can do at one time?
It depends on the level of which level you pay for. So if you pay for the highest level, I'm pretty sure it's unlimited. Same with characters. Which I upgraded to a different level. I started at the basic level, but I could only have 3 campaigns running at a time, which made things tricky with the amount of games that I do. But yeah, the other thing that I use and am using for Tyranny of Dragons, specifically more so for maps, is Roll20. I'm not going to necessarily have you all get on Roll20 because it's a chunky system. But it works really well for maps because you can download everything into it. It's going to create some really cool things on Twitch to be able to see. I'll create tokens for you all, similar to what you use, Chad, with being able to move our tokens around the map.
Right.
So it has everything in there, so we can have a real fancy map. The bigger they are, the longer they take to load.
Everybody memorize the map. Quick.
Quick, memorize. Here, I'll show you Greenest because we're not going to use it.
Oh, look at that.
But you can zoom out. It's got all of the players. From the GM view, since we're not using this section, I don't care. The GM shows what all tokens and what all like enemies or villagers or things like that are involved. I can then place them where I want them. But if you all were playing as characters, you wouldn't see those. Only I see the GM level.
Right.
And so then I can move things around. It's a really neat system. It just takes a bit. It has its own roller on character sheets and things like that. So you can functionally play an entire game on Roll20. I know a lot of people also use Fantasy Grounds for doing fully online sessions. But yeah, I'm using it mostly for maps. And I may take the maps and put them into another good map making thing that is on Steam and relatively inexpensive is Dungeon Painter Studio, where you can really go in and create your own maps that way.
Cool.
I haven't played a lot with it yet, but I have seen someone create a map in real time as people were describing the surroundings. That's how easy it is to create things on that one.
Very nice.
Those are what I use.
Cool. I think, I'm using very similar to what you guys have already talked about. I mean, when I started, for me, it was very much about Google Drive. Google Drive's just cool anyway. You have access to all my stuff, any computer, as long as I can log in, get all my stuff. The word processing, spreadsheet building, all that kind of stuff. I can organize all my things. Works great. But yeah, absolutely searchable PDFs. That is my go-to. I have, 6 or 7 open in tabs in my Adobe Acrobat, flipping back and forth between them. I can even create my own PDFs, pieces of other PDFs, and put them together so I have all of that, those resources in a single thing. Essentially, you feel like creating my own sort of, GM screen. So I have all that information here digitally. Being able to search it, yeah, I'm with Mike. The idea of collecting hard cover books and things. It's not. I have no attachment to that beautiful stuff at all. Put it on my computer. I'm perfectly fine with it. I also, I've not actually built a map from scratch. I have either stolen it from Google Images, or Pinterest, or any one of those sort of image places, and I have purchased. One of my favorite websites to purchase gaming stuff from, and one that I found a lot of Deadland stuff on it, is Drive-Thru RPG. Drive-Thru
RPG.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so much stuff. A lot of it's super cheap. You have individuals providing their stuff for sale on it for like $1, $2, $4. You can get cool tokens and maps of sheriff's offices, and so yeah, all of my sort of building maps have all been from Drive-Thru RPG, which has been great. And then, it's essentially stealing large images off of Google Images. Yes, people, I'm stealing shit. I am.
Yeah.
We're playing a game on the internet for fun. It happens. Okay.
I mean, every single one of our character art portraits are stolen and then either just left the way they are or photoshopped slightly.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably credit the artist for those when we do them.
Yeah, Monkey was basically
Look at that Prince thing, though.
a drawing of Henry Rollins that I squished and pulled. Gave him a different haircut,
Dredge was just Tim Armstrong from Rancid.
Yeah.
Barely did anything to it.
That's Andy Sandberg in a high school play.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Get what you need from where you need it. And yeah. But I think what's one thing that's we should definitely talk about now, because of the COVIDs and because we're not sitting around a table anymore. What kind of resources are we using to actually get everybody together and also to stream this stuff?
Well, my favorite resource that I'm using right now is the RPG dice roller from Patrick Lambrecht.
I was gonna say it.
Yep, it's in
Not
beta.
available.
Let me go ahead and
Throw that up
show
there.
that off right quick.
Yeah, absolutely show that off.
Turn off my other shit.
Patrick is learning, he's learned a bunch of programming languages as part of his job. So he actually created a dice roller with a bunch of options with, for your basic 5e dice rolling, a Shadowrun dice roller, which is crazy. A Savage Worlds version of dice roll. I mean, way to go, Patrick. It is pretty damn cool.
It doesn't look exactly like this. I have it stretched out really far so it fits what I'm doing a bit. But you can, you can adjust. Say we'll do 3d4 plus 3. There we go. Roll that.
Yep.
Math.
Shows you at the bottom what's up.
Yeah. I don't know why it's mirrored on this. It's not mirrored on the stream.
Fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Looks good for us. So there you go.
It's great.
But yeah, great little tool. Super nice tool. I think a lot of that. What's that?
It says it does magical effects when you roll a nat 1 or a nat 20.
It totally does. It tells you if you fucked up or done well. It's that good. Mike and I, we obviously we host a lot of the games through the streaming. So, Mike, tell them about how we put this stuff together, so everybody can see it.
Okay, so we are on either Discord or most recently Zoom. I love Discord. There's a lot more customization you can do for the audio and video, but sometimes it just decides not to work.
It's a glitchy motherfucker. Yeah.
So,
and it uses all of your computer's resources.
It uses so many fucking resources for no reason. But okay, we've been using those for like the video display. We've also been running through. We use 2 versions of OBS, old school OBS, OBS Studio, and we also use OBS Streamlabs. OBS Studio is used for the actual camera. What you're seeing me on right now is actually sent from the camera into the graphics card in the computer and read in OBS Studio. Then, if I'm streaming, I would put it into Streamlabs via what they call a virtual cam.
Yep.
It's a new add-on you can add to OBS. And through virtual cam, basically, you can have one version of OBS just in charge of your camera, which works really well for, when I'm playing as a PC, I can transfer between scenes and I have all sorts of stuff up.
Right.
It's the best way to do that. We also have this is technically a 3-camera setup that I'm on. We have this camera. We have map cam, which I don't have any of that. Let me see if what is that? Is it this one?
It's trying to do something. Yep.
It zoomed in really far on my mask because I was at Walgreens earlier. And do I have the other camera? And then, nope, that camera must not be plugged in. But there's a 3rd camera as well. Amongst all of that, we run it through an external audio device because with all the microphones we did when we were in live, needed to go through something else because it would have tried to kill the fucking computer if we ran them all separately. As it is now, we just I need 3 monitors as opposed to 2. It's just it's a lot more now.
Yeah. A lot has changed since we were streaming, when we were all sitting around a table streaming from Mike's basement. Basically we had a single computer. All of the cameras were set up through that. All of the audio was set up through that. The OBS was set up through that. Everything was happening in one system. We were broadcasting live to Twitch, much like we're doing now. Now, of course, since we're all remote, that's where those extra pieces of software come in. So each one of us we all have our own OBS and camera on the system.
First we tried to use split cam, and that didn't work.
No, that didn't work. OBS became really sort of the best way that we could set up our own camera with our own graphics work, with our cyberpunks and our
and
all of that
honestly,
stuff.
you would expect OBS as much work as much many plugins and different resources that it can look at to be very resource hog heavy. It's not. It's very resource light piece of software, especially for the amount of different things it can be looking at a given time.
So OBS Studio becomes all of our webcam, basically. So each of our individual systems has that webcam that's piped in through Zoom or Discord. Zoom is a bit more stable, and as Mike was saying, and then either Mike or I are hosting the stream to Twitch usually through Streamlabs. So we've got two instances of some type of open broadcast software running on our system. We've got Streamlabs set up with Twitch. So what you're watching now on Twitch and later on YouTube will all be recorded through Streamlabs, and there we go. So there's in a nutshell, that's the computer technology that's taking place just so you guys can watch it. So from a tools aspect there, OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, and then whatever flavor of webcam and audio device you have on your particular system.
Feel free to split cam is also a thing that we tried. We could not personally get it to work, but it did appear as if it could work. So there's also an option for you there.
Yep,
if we really wanted to get profesh with it, we would have everybody's audio run through Audacity and then into OBS, but I'm not going to go around and teach everybody how to do that. As it is, we're just going raw into the streaming.
And then, of course, I think a lot of us have it. It's just setting it up to work as an audio buffer. And then we each have our own way. Mike and I both have our own ways of sort of getting images up to our players as we're playing. I like a little tool called Map Tools. It's on version 1.7 right now.
You have to walk away for a second.
Do your thing. It's essentially sort of a layerable map. It's really kind of, I think it's very Roll20 in what it's designed to do, but I wanted something that was just on my system that I could and that I could share the window and let you guys see what's going on, and that I could control it. Where it's simple, it can be a lot more than, it can be used in a way that's a lot more robust than the way I use it, but it's free and it's worked real great. So
I would say
I'm going to steal that from you.
okay.
I would say that it's I've used Roll20 as well in my past, and Laura, correct me if I get anything wrong here. I think Roll20 is a super interesting system for people that are just playing for fun. For what we're doing in streaming, I don't think it would work at all, because it has a bad habit of stealing inputs, camera inputs, audio inputs, and it doesn't give them back once you start it. So
they've fixed that to a degree where you can turn everything off and receive or give out. You can change it to nothing, but its default setting is to have everybody's camera and microphone on, and it's a pain in the ass.
The menu system and user interface is pretty bad.
Right. Well, let's wrap up. This is a little bit longer episode, but we had a lot to cover. If there was one tool that you could not ever give up while you're GMing, what would that be? I will start, and that is something that Mike suggested I do, and that is this. A single piece of paper with all of the night session, all of the things I need to know and where I want to take, what the little boxes I need to sort of help my party check off. This has been invaluable. Thank you, Michael. A simple piece of paper with fucking notes on it.
Well, that's very nice of you to say that. I will say that looks like you're telling people where the body's hidden. On that paper. We need to work on your penmanship,
Only
buddy.
gotta make sense to me.
Laura.
I'll be honest. They should give us money, but I can't jam without D&D Beyond and just all of the things that. I mean, I could, but
Specifically for 5e.
Yeah,
Right.
specifically if I was jamming 5e, which I pretty much exclusively do because I'm not super comfortable in any other system. I play them, but I'm not comfortable jamming them. So yeah, D&D Beyond for me is the one thing I can't live without.
This goes from when we were live to when we're now that we're apart. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna just say Google Chrome. Having an open browser with multiple tabs sitting next to me. I used it when we were live. Anything I need to look up quick is a few quick keyboard strokes. I'm a quick typer. I can get there like pretty quickly, and we could have rules questions answered. I can look up stats. I can look up your characters now that everybody post them online. We can share Google Docs. It's a cheating answer, but it's
the Swiss Army knife of GMing, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt. Phil, the last question was the one tool you cannot do without while you're GMing. Go. You're wrapping it up, dude. Make it good. No pressure.
All the pressure.
The one tool that I cannot get along without is an open browser with Twitch open on it, so that I can see all of the wonderful comments from our viewers. And perhaps elicit a response to it in real time or close to.
Nice. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, guys. This was a great episode. Lots of stuff there. Watch this particular episode multiple times and write down all those URLs because Mike got a shit ton of them. Hey, you guys should come hang out with us on Discord. To do that, you need to watch us live. I think Laura already dropped in her Discord invite on this particular stream. But come back and hang out with us on tomorrow, Thursday, and Sunday. We'll be actually playing games then. Come hang out. Get the Discord invite. And if you want to catch up on all of the crazy stuff that we've done in the past, come on over to YouTube. All of that under Durnk Industries. See that stuff there. And remember, it's your table, your rules. Don't do as I do. Do as they say. And have fun, goddammit. Thanks, everybody. Have fun. Be good. Looks like we're sharing one last thing. Okay. There we go.
Seriously.
Don John.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Go there.
Go there. It's awesome. All right, everybody.
It's great.